I love Gary's mod. Even though the game isn't as popular as it once used to be, there are still a bunch of things you can do in this game, surprisingly enough. This is thanks to the ever-expanding Steam Workshop and the countless amount of community servers still up and running. Whether it be Sandbox, Trouble in Terrace Town, or Dark RP, there's something for everyone in this game. Heck, to this day people still use Gmod for stuff like videos, animations, and posters. But have you ever stopped and thought about some of the more weird or disturbing secrets of Gmod, as well as its history? Maybe even thought about the lore of Gmod? No? Well, let me tell you anyways. Lately, these video game iceberg explanation videos have exploded all over the internet, so I thought I would offer my take on one of these images. I was wondering if there was an iceberg chart of Gmod, and it turns out there is. Well, there's 4 of them, but this one in particular feels more complete compared to the others. No offense. So I'm gonna be sticking with this one. If you don't know how these charts work, basically topics high up the iceberg are well known and in most cases common knowledge, while topics lower down the iceberg are more obscure, abstract, and sometimes more disturbing. Now with that explanation out of the way, let's get started. We're going to be going over all entries in this iceberg, starting from the top and working our way lower and lower until we reach the bottom depths. You ready? Let's do this. GM Construct. Let's start with a classic. If you played or watched old videos of Gmod at all, then you know about the default sandbox map that comes with the game, GM Construct. The map contains all the essentials needed for either building or trying out add-ons, such as a large open field, large body of water, skyscrapers, a mirror, and spooky dark rooms. There's also this white room that can change appearances with the use of the color tool, which is neat. Now this map has been around since the beginning of Gmod and has been going through many drastic updates all the way until Gmod version 13. I could go on and on about the old versions of Construct, but I don't want this video to be longer than it already is. So in the description, I'm gonna link a video made by Sirkey, who does a great job explaining the changes made to Construct with each update and how it got to where it is today. Spawn menu. Added in version 5 and going through many changes since then, the spawn menu can be opened by holding down the Q key or by pressing F1. In it, it will let you spawn various stuff such as props, ragdolls, weapons, entities, NPCs, vehicles, and dupes. You can also adjust the post-processing effects and load saves from it. On the side are a list of tools as well as utilities used for cleaning stuff up in one click or making changes to settings on the fly. Sandbox. It's pretty much the default game mode of Gmod, which will allow you to build or spawn anything you desire. Not much more I can say about this entry. Bouncy balls. In the fun plus game section of entities, there are these bouncy balls you can spawn in that come in many different colors and sizes. They do as they suggest. They bounce. But not only that, if you walk up to one and press E on it, you can eat it and regain health from it? Yeah, this doesn't make much sense, but whatever. Machinima. If you've been on YouTube long enough, then you'll remember this channel when it was active. Machinima was a YouTube channel that showcased many different trailers and videos created by different content creators, most of them being, well, machinimas. You might remember some of the many old Gmod videos that came from that channel that you used to watch as a kid. Unfortunately, the channel was shut down in early 2019 and all the videos were set to private. Press F. Dark RP. Dark RP is a roleplay game mode found in a lot of servers. It's supposed to mirror real life, but most of the time it devolves into utter insanity. Also, if for the exact moment you even think about breaking one of the rules, the admins will grab you with their fizz gun and ban you.
Citizens aren't supposed to have guns.
Admins aren't supposed to suck dicks.
Other than that, nothing else I can really say about it. V for no clip. Pretty self-explanatory, just press V to activate no clip. Why this specific key was chosen to be the default bind, I have no idea. Trouble in Terrace Town. TTT is a built-in game mode where a group of players are spawned into a map with randomly spawned weapons. Once the preparation period is over, players are either assigned innocent, detective, or traitor. Innocents are either normally on the lookout for suspected traitors or defending themselves until the round is over. The detective's main purpose is to find out clues on who the traitor is. When they search the bodies of players that were killed, they can find out more information on what happened to them, as well as who they last saw before they died. And finally, there are the traitors. A traitor's main goal is to kill every innocent and detective in the map while trying to blend in with the others and not draw on suspicion. Basically, this game mode was Among Us before Among Us was even a thing. Father Grigori is an animal. The Half-Life 2 character, Father Grigori, is listed as an animal in the NPC tab. When I first saw this, I was confused. Maybe Gary made a mistake and accidentally listed Grigori as an animal. Well, no, chances are that was completely intentional. If you played through the entire Ravenholm chapter in Half-Life 2, then you know Father Grigori is a bit insane. Hey, spending most of your life inside a zombie-infested town can really do stuff to ya. Missing textures. Pretty simple. If you don't have the required game and or custom textures for a certain map, then you'll see this. These pink and black checkered textures will appear everywhere on the map, signaling that there are missing textures. Thus, the map will not appear as intended. Fléchette gun. This is a custom weapon that comes with the game. It's basically a SMG that shoots out fléchettes, which if you don't know are projectiles that are shot out from the hunter enemy in Half-Life 2 Episode 2. If you don't have Episode 2 mounted to the game, then the game won't give you access to the weapon. CSS content. About 50% of maps on the workshop and servers require the game Counter-Strike source in order to display properly. Don't have that game? Well then prepare to see a lot of missing textures and error signs. Annabelle. Father Grigori wields a double-barreled shotgun named Annabelle, though normally you don't get to use it in normal Half-Life 2 gameplay. So what will happen if the player does end up collecting it? Well, once the player grabs hold of it, the view model will display as a normal shotgun from Half-Life 2, though it acts nothing like it. Apparently this thing uses slug shots if it only leaves behind one bullet hole. Also, it absolutely has no recoil. Aside from those three things, it functions about the same. Manhack gun. Another custom weapon built into the game, though this one is a bit more random. The Manhack gun is a regular Half-Life 2 pistol that fires out manhacks with the click of a mouse. The manhack is automatically welded to every surface and prop too. That's not all though. If you hit the right mouse button, you'll fire a roller mine. Yeah, it's a bit random, but I think I know what inspired Gary to make this weapon, and it involves a certain version of Gmod all the way back in 2004. You'll see what I mean once we get lower down the iceberg. Secret room on GM Construct. There are actually secrets in both the Gmod 12 version of Construct and the modern Construct. I'll go over the modern one first. If you crouch underneath this path near the bunker and head towards the rightmost wall next to the lambda symbol, you'll find this small room containing 2 couches, a sink, and a doll sitting on top of a table. There are signs and graffiti covering the walls too. There is also a large sign crediting the people who helped to make Construct version 13. Now going back one version, Construct version 12, if you no-clip into the stairs near the building you start at, you'll find this room with stretched out textures, along with 2 signs on either side containing credits. Also, coming round your house tonight? Okay. AI Disable 1. This command does exactly what it says. It can disable NPCs and prevent them from moving or attacking you. Well, actually there is 2 versions of this command, but they're both the same. The only real difference is one of them can be activated on the fly without opening the pause menu. Secret phrase. If you type in block switch into the in-game chat, you'll unlock the secret phrase achievement. I don't know what Gary was smoking for him to come up with this achievement in its phrase, but either way, this is a very easy achievement to unlock once you know the word. It does make me wonder how long this phrase went unnoticed though. Zombie Survival. One of the older game modes, Zombie Survival lets you take control of either a human or different types of zombies. The human's main goal is to, well, survive. Usually you have to find a place to set up base and stay there defending yourself with your group until the round is over. A zombie's main goal is to, of course, kill off the humans. You get a choice between many different zombies you can play as, each with their own unique abilities. Overall, the game mode is pretty fun and I did have some pretty great memories with it. Dupes. Dupes, short for duplications, is a tab in the spawn menu that will let you spawn in any creation made by the community. These dupes usually contain buildings, scenes, vehicles, machines, poses, and more. If you want to save your own dupe, then right click on whatever you want to save using the duplication tool, then click on Save Dupe underneath the Dupe tab. Any dupe you want to deploy can be spawned in with ease using the tool gun. Pretty neat. NPC TF2 Ghost. This is kind of a weird one. Judging by the name, you would think it would spawn the ghost enemy from Team Fortress 2, but instead, it spawns Mossman who will just walk around in a random direction before sitting down and saying,
"I guess you should go with Alex."
She will then stand back up and scream, "Watch out!" before running around panicking. She will run to a random point of the map before going back to her normal state, thus repeating the process again. She can also be killed with one hit too. This NPC is supposed to demonstrate how Nextbot NPCs work and if Nextbots work on the map you are playing. It can be found in the Nextbot section of NPCs, but why is it called NPC TF2 Ghost though? Apparently it might have something to do with the NPC using the same system as the ghost from TF2, but I could be wrong. Also, according to early reports, when this NPC was first added, not only was it found under the TF2 section of NPCs, but sometimes it would clip through walls and start flying at a low altitude. Players also apparently couldn't get rid of it too, even with admin reset. I don't really have any proof of this though, so take it with a grain of salt. Wire Mod. Originally made by Urkel and now maintained by the Wire team, this add-on allows you to make advanced contraptions using wires, entities, and tools provided by the mod. There's a lot you can do with this add-on, and some people have gotten really creative with it, but other than that, not much else I can say about this entry. If you want to check out Wire Mod, then you can find it on the Steam Workshop. The meaning of Ming Bag. Back in the very early days of Gmod, players had to set their name to whatever they want in the in-game settings. If they don't, then their default name will display as Ming Bag. The term Ming Bag soon became an insult to players who are either incompetent and don't understand the game at all, mostly applied to new players, or are players who are actively trying to ruin or crash a server. They are also often portrayed by a T-posing Kleiner model with a gravity gun at their waist. According to the Gary's Mod wiki, there are different types of meme bags. These include Noob Meme Bag, Evil Meme Bags, Good Meme Bags, Hive Mind Meme Bags, Miku Clones, and Pedo Meme Bags. The term eventually died somewhere in 2008 when updates to both Steam and Gmod forced players to use their Steam name as their display name. Thus, Meme Bag was no more. Walk. Did you know that you can walk slowly by holding down Alt? Yeah, I don't know what the purpose of this is, and I often forget about it entirely, but it's there. M9K Weapons. M9K is one of the earlier weapon pack add-ons uploaded to the workshop all the way back in 2013. Small arms, assault rifles, heavy weapons, and specialties. You might have some great memories with these add-ons, myself included. You might have used them in a gunfight with your friends, or used the motherfucking Davy Crockett to kill everyone in the server. Nowadays though, with more and more weapon packs coming out, as well as add-ons like customizable weaponry and Tifa, the M9K weapons are not as popular as they once used to be, but it still holds a very special place in our hearts. The Toy Box. Before the Steam Workshop was introduced for Gmod, there was the Toy Box. The Toy Box was very similar to the Workshop, where any user with a valid copy of Gmod can download any add-on from the menu with ease, as well as upload their own add-ons. It went live around July 29th, 2010 and was shut down when Gmod 13 and the Workshop for it was launched. Most of the toy box add-ons were fixed up and re-uploaded to the workshop, but there's a good probability that some of the add-ons are now lost. It was kinda unfortunate to see it go when I was younger, especially since I had lots of fun just messing around with the different types of community created add-ons. Though I can see why Gary had to shut it down. Sort of redundant to have both the toy box and the workshop for Gmod. Model Cheeple. I tried searching up this exact name in the spawn list menu and found nothing. There is, however, 2 models with the word Cheeple attached to them. There's Police Cheeple, which is a low poly version of the Metro Police enemy with extremely wonky physics, and Male Cheeple, a low poly and low resolution version of the male citizen. Kinda creepy if you ask me. Anyways, these might be what the entry is referring to, as Model Cheeple yielded me no results. Bot servers. This entry is likely referring to fake players all hopping onto servers connected to a made-up game mode, causing it to be boosted all the way to the top of the server list. Here in this screenshot, you can see a couple of them. DDoS is illegal, you know. Gmod serverlist at gmail.com, Awesome sucks, and .-win%- ? Yeah, none of these game modes are actually game modes. This is also worth pointing out. Look at how many servers are running in the TTT and RP game modes. Now compare them to how many servers are running in the fake game modes. A lot less, yet they have more players in them. Bone Editor. If you ever wanted to create horrible abominations of demon spawn, then this is a tool for you. Hold down C and right click on the NPC you want to edit. Click Edit Bones and then you'll enter the Bone Editor. There you can click on any bone on the NPC and you can move it or rotate it however you want. Once you're done making your demon spawn, you can exit the Bone Editor. Amazing. Gmod M-Core Test 1. If you ever want to boost an FPS, then here's a quick tip. Open up console and type in Gmod M-Core Test 1. That'll allow the game to use multiple cores in your CPU, boosting your FPS. GM Big City. Uploaded in 2009 by Bigwig, GM Big City is exactly what it says it is. A big city. While it is fun to explore and play around on it with some friends, there's a handful of Easter eggs on this map that you might not be aware of. Some of them take you to a hidden room, while others are pretty creepy. Here's 2 of them. There's also this one Easter egg involving a gnome inside of a secret room. You can find the entrance to the secret room near the edge of the map, and if you go in and break this part of the wall, you'll find the gnome. Grabbing it will cause it to yell for help, and hitting it will make it scream.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
There's also some reports from players that the map is haunted, but I found nothing that proves that, so moving on. Act Dance. If you input this into the console, your character will dance. There are other act commands you can input too, like Act Wave. Not sure why these are hidden away in the console though. If you don't want to use the console every time you want your character to do an action, then you can either bind it or use an add-on that will let you do it on the fly. Conspiracy Maps. Both uploaded in 2010 by Megalomania, Construct Conspiracy and Flatgrass Conspiracy are 2 maps that follow the same formula. Underneath the map is a series of tunnels containing a bunch of strange rooms, including a security room, lab, armory, and an MK Ultra chamber. According to the description, these underground areas are where Gary monitors the player. I doubt that's what the creator actually thinks though. We're not actually being constantly watched in Construct or Flatgrass, right? Right? Clockwork RP. Another RP game mode, but the difference between this and Dark RP is that this one is serious. So you better not fool around, otherwise it's an insta-ban. Also, apparently it costs real money to host your own Clockwork RP server, so yeah. Gary joining servers. Before 2018, there would be a chance, not likely, but a chance that Gary Newman, the creator of Gary's Mod, would join a server. If you were in the same server he was in, then you would unlock the achievement, "Yes, I am the real Gary." If you're going for all achievements, then good freaking luck trying to get this one. The last chance to get this achievement was in March 4th, 2018, and Gary stopped playing Gmod almost entirely after that. Only in rare circumstances does he ever launch the game again. It's even rarer if he joins a server, and even then there's a good chance you won't be able to get in due to the server's player limit. All in all, don't be surprised if you end up never getting this achievement in your life. Swept Construction Kit. This utility add-on allows scripters to make diverse weapon designs without making a new model from scratch. You can really make some neat stuff with it once you know how to use it. If you ever wanted to create a custom weapon without spending most of your time modeling the design, then you might like this add-on. Gmod Tower. Gmod Tower is a game mode and server developed by Pixeltail Games, with its first release being in 2009. In it, you can find a theater, arcade, casino, and several stores for buying accessories for your player and suite. There is also several ports for game modes that you and your friends can join in. There was a lot you can do in Gmod Tower, though on April 8th, 2016, it was shut down when its successor, Tower Unite, was released in early access. Prop Possession. If you hold down C and right click on a prop, you can click on drive and then you're able to control the prop with your mind? Anyways, in this state, you're able to move the prop wherever you want, even through the floor. When you're done, you can press E to exit this state. Cough virus. This entry refers to a virus that spread through many servers back in 2014. This virus exploited a weakness in the source engine's file transfer and was able to be automatically downloaded onto a person's computer without them noticing. If a person with an affected computer joins a server that is not infected with the virus, then their code will be uploaded to the server and spread to other people's computers, and then the cycle repeats. A player infected with the virus would have their Steam name be forcefully changed to FinHillFixit, and will cause the player to spam cough in the chat every 10 seconds, emitting a coughing sound in game all the while too. It wasn't destructive to your PC, but it was pretty annoying. Luckily, the exploit was patched out very quickly before more harm could be done, so now we don't have to deal with a cough virus ever again. Oh goddamn! Expression 2 exploits. A quick Google search has yielded me different results, so I'm just gonna go through them all. These exploits are the following: crashing an entire server, obscuring everyone's vision, aimbot with wallhack, and probably the cruelest one of them all, flashing the whole server with different bright colors. There might be more, but those are the only 4 I found online. Malicious workshop add-ons. Every once in a while, an add-on with malicious coding inside the Lua file is uploaded onto the workshop. The uploader can also update their add-on to have malicious coding in it after the player has downloaded it and tested it out. This can be used to backdoor servers too. Though with how uncommon it is and how quick the admins are to delete possibly harmful files, it's very unlikely that this will affect you. Just stay away from the more recent add-on section and you should be good. RP Baneclaw's Underground Creature. In the map RP Baneclaw, there is a dark underground system with a very creepy ambience to it, way more creepy than an RP map has the right to be. It's also very easy to get lost in too. Anyways, players report seeing a creature in these underground tunnels. There are also some, or I guess one, report of a player seeing something above ground too, though this seems to be on more rare occasions. To add more fuel to the fire, the creator of the map says that he added something in the underground system. Thing is though, these reports are probably fake, and the creator of the map is probably just trolling us. Back it up with the fact that there's no video proof and statements from people saying they saw nothing, and yeah, this is likely fake. But it wouldn't be an analysis video without some research of my own. So not only did I explore the entire system myself, but I decompiled the BSB file for the map so I can open it in Hammer and extracted all the custom files for the map. I found nothing. The only notable thing I found is that creepy ambient music will play in the background, which is freaky, but that's probably not what the iceberg is referring to. GM Shambles. Shambles is a zombie apocalypse themed map made by Farto Machikatron. Good name. This map has its own sets of mysteries with people saying that it's haunted, and like before, I found nothing. Not even the older version of this map had anything, though there is one thing worth pointing out. If you head towards this well near the edge of the map and jump in, you'll find this. God damn it, I tried to tell everyone that gnomes were the root of all evil, and you all didn't believe me. In fact, you all laughed and mocked me. Well, guess who's laughing now, huh? Fizz maps. If you search around the workshop, you'll find a whole subset of maps with destructible buildings. You can either destroy them yourself or use one of the many buttons provided on the map. It's pretty fun destroying these buildings and watching them fall apart, but other than that, there's not much else I can say about these maps. R-Flush LOD. According to the Valve software wiki, this command flushes and reloads LODs. Nothing really noticeable happens, though some people did say it did help them fix invisible NPC textures and improve their FPS. Single player ambience. Have you ever noticed that when you're alone in single player, you get this unnerving feeling that just won't leave you, as if you're not actually alone in some map you play on? Like, you will hear traffic and sirens in the background, and sometimes even people talking, yet you don't find anyone. Some older maps even use the dystopian ambience from Half-Life 2 in their background too. Usually in normal Half-Life 2 gameplay, you don't notice the ambience as you're always in the middle of action, yet having it on loop in the background of a seemingly normal map is off-putting. Actually, the ambience in most of these maps is always so off-putting. Yet, you don't really get the same feeling when you play with other people. If you want a better explanation of this, then I recommend watching this video by the librarian. Source machines. Okay, I'll be honest, I have no idea what this entry is referring to. It could be talking about the source engine, or it could be talking about the various machine dupes, maps, and tools found on the workshop. But I could not find anything specifically named source machines. If you have any ideas as to what this entry could be referring to, then let me know in the comments. TF2 Freaks. If you remember the early days of Gmod animations, then you'll remember these guys, the TF2 Freaks. There is a lot of freaks and monsters to list off, so to keep it short, I'll just list some of the more well-known ones. Penis Cupcake, Vagineer, Seaman, and Christian Brutal Sniper. Again, there are many more that I can't list here, so if you want to search them all yourself, then there's a whole wiki dedicated to TF2 Freaks. Dead game modes. If you go on the server list and scroll all the way down, you'll find a bunch of empty servers that had little to no player traffic on them for a while, yet for some reason they are still up and running. These could very well be the case of some kid using their parents' credit card to pay to have their server running, and then forgetting to shut down said server once people stopped coming. This results in an empty landscape of what used to be a thriving server. Kind of eerie to explore, really. Backdoors in community servers. There have been many cases of servers being backdoored. This commonly happens when uploaders update their add-ons to have the ability to backdoor servers that have them running, like I mentioned earlier. There have been several times when backdoors were discovered on add-ons, but the two more infamous cases would have to be the Drugs mod and G-Bombs 5. If you run your own server and want to stay safe, then I recommend carefully looking through the Lua files of the add-on you want to add first before extracting the GMA file. Extracting the file means it won't be automatically updated, so if the uploader does update the add-on's Lua files to have backdoor capabilities, then you'll most likely be fine. C models. This entry is likely referring to the various view model weapons found in the spawn list. Most of them spawn just fine, while others spawn as an effect instead of a model for some reason. You can also spawn in arms! Yeah! Polygon normals shading. Gmod has an anti-piracy measure where if you try to launch an illegal copy of Gmod, the following message will appear: unable to shade polygon normals, followed by the user's Steam ID. Thing is though, this isn't an actual error message that you'll encounter in normal gameplay. this was for the sole purpose of identifying pirates, and boy did it work. Many pirates who encountered this message flooded to the Face Punch forum, hoping to find some answer for fixing it. What followed next was many bans, as well as a little reminder that pirating is illegal. Gary'sMod.org. Now this I remember very well, and I'm sure many of you watching do too. Before there was the workshop, or even Toy Box, players would have to go onto the Gary'sMod.org site in order to download an add-on they want to use. They would then have to manually drag the file into the add-ons folder in order to play. While I'm glad we have a much easier way to install add-ons now, I still hold very fond memories of this site, even if me and many other people stopped using it once the workshop came out. But you know what's weird and kinda mind-boggling? This site is still up to this day. Like, what? GM Construct fits any game mode. While you could play game modes like TTT, Prop Hunt, Murder, and Dark RP on Construct, they'll all quickly become bland after like 6 or 7 minutes. Construct was primarily meant for sandbox, so moving on. The reason behind Male 07 popularity. Take a second to look at this face. Who does he remind you of?
John Freeman.
Gary's Mod December 27th, 2004 build. Also known as Gmod 2, this version is way different compared to what we have now. First off, when you load into the main menu, you can't even get into the game, so you'll have to use the console to load into a map. When you load in, you'll spawn in the earliest version of Construct that we discussed earlier. On the top right, there are instructions on how to use the weapon you are currently using. We have the Fizz gun, which looks like a normal gravity gun, though something just doesn't feel right with this version of the Fizz gun, besides the appearance. Maybe it's cause grabbing objects with it causes the object to bounce around too much for precise placements. The Fizz gun is not the only weapon that's different compared to the final build. We have the Super Gravity gun replacing the normal gravity gun. The pistol's primary fire attaches a manhack to an object, and its secondary fire shoots out a scanner instead. Seems familiar, huh? The revolver is a tool in this version where instead of firing a bullet, it places down a camera. You can adjust the window with the right mouse button too. And yep, I have no player model. The crossbow is also a tool in this version. Pressing the primary button on 2 different targets will connect a rope to each other, and the secondary mouse button welds 2 objects together. And finally, the RPG, instead of launching out rockets, launches out objects based on what's currently selected in the list. Pressing R will let you switch between objects, so if you ever wanted a rapid fire baby launcher, then go nuts. And that's it, no spawn menu, no flat grass, just one map, which is Construct. While yes, it's really rough and there's not a whole lot to do, it would be one of the starting steps for what would eventually become the Gmod we all know today. Finally, a gray one. This one has become kind of a meme in the Gmod community. This entry refers to a gray ball that has a very rare chance of spawning. If it ever does spawn, you'll unlock the secret achievement called Finally, a gray one. That's what would happen if that were true, but it isn't. There's no coding in the Bouncy Balls Lua file that suggests a ball with a gray color variant would spawn, and even if you forced it to, you won't get the achievement. G-Man virus. Around 2009 to 2010, there were reports of a virus spreading around on Gmod, allegedly through add-ons, known as the G-Man virus. There are different reports of what exactly happens to your computer if it's affected with the virus, but this is the most common one. If your computer gets infected with the virus, then whenever you launch Gmod, your entire screen would be covered with the face of G-Man as you start hearing a long, loud screeching sound. You won't be able to move your mouse as it will get stuck in the top right corner. If you try to forcefully close the game with either Alt F4 or Task Manager, a message will pop up saying, "It's too late now, you're in the pits of hell." The virus will then open multiple porn and virus sites, and it will keep opening them until your PC crashes. Thing is though, I doubt this one is actually real. For one, there's no real proof of this G-Man virus. No pictures, no videos, no anything. At least with the cough virus, it was well documented. Here we're just supposed to believe a couple of forum posts. Unless I see further proof of the existence of this virus, I'm just gonna call this one a hoax. SB Omen V2 Artifacts. This map was released in 2013 by the user Victor K, and in it you can fly up into space and explore different planets. The main goal of this map, however, is to collect 4 different artifacts. Each one is found in the following planets: Mercury, Uranus, Jupiter, and Mars. You're supposed to place each artifact on a slot near this device. Once all 4 artifacts are in place, the device activates and a beam of light is shot up towards the sky. What follows next is this. Congratulations, you have reached the end of the universe. Thanks for playing. Nah, just kidding. You can leave through this doorway once you reach this room. You're not actually stuck here for forever. QMap abnormalities. The ENV map renders a texture of the surrounding area and creates a reflection that matches the area that you are in. At least that's what it's supposed to do, because according to several reports, players have had issues with cube maps either being blinding white, displaying purple and black missing textures, or displaying the wrong reflections entirely. Why this is lower down the iceberg, I have no idea. It could be referring to something else entirely, but I didn't find anything. Crow pathways. The crow, as well as pretty much every other bird NPC in this game, have some really strange behaviors if you spawn them in. For example, if you spawn them in Construct, they will all fly to this corner of the building and keep jumping up over and over. They really love this corner for some reason. Spawning them on top of this skyscraper doesn't help either. It's like they're having a hard time trying to decide which pillar to stand on. Looking at the AI air nodes, you can see they're fully mapped out, so I guess the bird NPCs are just dumb. Weapon icons are fonts. If you go into the game's files and go into resources folder, you'll find the font file this entry is referring to, named Half-Life 2. Kind of a weird design choice to have source games use a font of all things to display a weapon icon, but if it works, then it works. Black figures in single player. This entry suggests that while in single player, players report seeing dark figures not only on maps like Baneclaw or Downtown V2 or Big City, but on any map. Spoiler alert, most of these are from RP Downtown V2. Yeah, I could not find any forum posts of players saying they saw these figures. The only proof I could find is these old videos from many years ago. Most of them being recorded on the lowest settings possible and having non-existent FPS. Let's be real, all of these videos are fake. Most of these sightings are either a NPC colored pitch black or if someone's friend acting like a ghost. Did that stop us from watching them back then? No, in fact I found them quite creepy and enjoyable, as did many others. Escape the Box. This is an old Entity add-on all the way back when the toy box was still up and running. The goal of the game is to escape the box, except you can't, not in normal means anyways, cause every time you break a box, more and more spawn, creating a never-ending struggle. This was actually a lot of fun back then. It's a shame it never got ported to the workshop though. Murder clues tell a story. I guess it's referring to a theory that each clue location in Murder tells some sort of backstory. Okay, I can't find anything on this one either. Also, it's not really specified which map it is or what story it's trying to tell, so I don't know. This might very well be the case of people reading too much into stuff if they consider randomized clue locations actual lore. If you have any ideas as to what this could be referring to, please let me know in the comments, cause I legitimately got nothing for this one. Charpel sightings. Like the other sighting entries on this iceberg, this one is centered around the supposed encounters with the paranormal, this time with the charcoal player model. I found this post, and that's it. Yeah, I legit couldn't find any more posts or videos on these supposed charcoal sightings. Even if there are more forum posts, then I'm pretty sure it's just a player freaking out over another player that has a charcoal player model. A way to access the toy box. While there is a way you can restore and play most of the old toy box add-ons, there is no way to access the actual toy box site in cloud as it was shut down years ago. GM Flatgrass was the original GM Construct. There's a rumor that the first ever version of GM Construct was later converted into GM Flatgrass. Now, unless Gary decides to release his development history on both maps, we'll never know if this is actually true or not, but it is neat to think about though. Kinect compatibility. Did you know that you can use the Xbox 360 Kinect on Gary's mod? It's always so surprising to me because you would think it would be one of the few things that would not work on this game, yet it does. Anyways, once you have it all connected and have the drivers downloaded, hold down C and right click on the ragdoll you want to control. Click on Control with Motion Sensor and you should be good. You need me. In the end of Half-Life 2, spoilers by the way, after you destroy the dark energy reactor, Brain says his last words. You need me. But Endy, this is in Half-Life 2. What does this have to do with Gmod? Well, I'm glad you asked, dear viewer. The reason I brought up Half-Life 2 is because that same voice clip is used in this video, also named You Need Me. You need me. You need me. Side note, what the hell is that thing? Lobby 2 hidden billboard. In 2015, this video was uploaded by Crizzle Angleton, or mostly known as Craig. It features him using a glitch to get out of bounds of Lobby 2 in Gmod Tower. When he gets outside, he finds this mysterious billboard near this corner. When he pressed E on it, the game loaded into a new map. What he encountered next was a twisted version of the regular Gmod Tower suite with very ominous ambient music playing in the background, as well as faces flashing on the screen. When he enters a room inside a suite, he sees a shadow of a dark figure being casted on the wall. He turns the corner and Fraps crashes. Disappointing. Now, there is some speculation if this is real or not. Most people first dismissed this video as a hoax due to players clipping out of bounds and finding no billboard. However, counter arguments claim that the billboard was actually there for a short time before it was eventually deleted by the admins. Here's a screenshot of the same billboard from a different angle. The actual answer is complicated. See, there was supposed to be an event called The Streamer, an interactive based short horror movie where players had to make decisions throughout the film by voting. The movie would have also presented various riddles for the player to solve and unlock secrets of the backstory. It would have been pretty neat if it was finished, though sadly it wasn't. In this forum post by Masaki, he reveals pretty much everything in terms of what happened to the event and why it was cancelled. At this point you might be thinking to yourself, okay, but why was there a billboard hidden out of bounds that took you to parts of a film? Surely this would have been more of a secret and not for some random guy to stumble across using a glitch. Well, what if I told you that Craig was actually in on the whole thing? When Lobby 2 first rolled around, Masaki started leaving hints for the upcoming film for people on both the lobby and the forum to find. This is what likely led to the creation of this video. Want more proof? Well, let's go onto his channel, and there's only 2 videos, and they're both horror based? Kinda sus if you ask me. If Craig was just a normal player who happened to come across this Easter egg, then why would he just abandon his channel? Why would he leave his viewers in the dark and never give them an update? Look at how convenient the crash was just before the reveal of the supposed hanging body. It just doesn't add up. Also, I don't know about you, but to me, it looks like most of these video and audio effects were added in post. So we know the backstory of the video, and we likely know the motivation behind the uploader. So that leaves one last question. If the billboard was actually there for a short point, then what would actually happen if someone interacted with it? Well, nothing. It was just a prop. Sorry. Gmod is a dreamscape. In this post requesting people to come up with some sort of backstory related to Gmod, Reddit user Gudek came up with 2 theories. The second one is what we'll be focusing on. In it, he describes that every time you play Gary's mod, you're actually entering a lucid dream of a Steam gamer known as Gary, in which he uses items like the fizz gun or the tool gun to control his dreams however he pleases. Whenever you spawn in an item, that's Gary conjuring it up at his will. Whenever you subscribe to a new add-on, that's Gary seeing said add-on as a new idea in his head, and so on and so forth. While I do think it is kind of silly to come up with a backstory for a sandbox game, it is a neat theory to think about. Meaty. This entry refers to an obscure, kinda creepypasta-esque rumor of a creature dwelling in the dark room of Construct, known as Meaty. You might have never heard of this rumor. That's cause it originated and is mainly talked about on the Russian side of Gmod. Anyways, at first, Meaty is passive, only spectating the player from a distance. However, there is a way to trigger Meaty into becoming aggressive. If you kill a series of NPCs in a specific order, you'll see shadows in the pond. Once you see these shadows, then you'll know you've done everything correctly. Head into the dark room and you'll encounter Meaty face to face, followed swiftly by death. Reports differ on what Meaty truly looks like. Some say it's humanoid, while others say it looks like an eldritch entity. While I do think this whole thing is pretty interesting, it's obviously fake. In fact, it's pretty well known in the Russian community by now that this is not real, and it's become kind of an inside joke too. Regardless, I have always been a fan of reading up on foreign gaming myths, and this one is no different. The truth about single player. Do you really want to know? Okay. You're not actually alone. Since version 2, you were never alone. Those conspiracy maps, those are actually recreations of what the uploader actually saw. Gary didn't quit Gmod, he just said it as an excuse to spawn more players underground. Those black figures, the charcoals, Meaty, those are just people who found out about the truth and are now trapped in the game. The call virus was just a warning from a trapped player who knew how to time travel. You know, the toy box was shut down for a reason. One leak of the source code and everyone will realize. And you know, I was actually wrong about the add-ons not being dangerous. All of them, and I mean all of them, are hiding a player inside of them, as well as something that will track your every movement. The crows, they are in on it, so are the gnomes, those damn gnomes. And the ambience you hear in the background, actual noises, not audio files. Anyways, back on track. The truth about single player, it was all a facade. You are always being monitored. Every time you play on single player, all your data is being transferred onto the source machine. Now that I got everything out, I might not be alive much longer after the release of this video. If you hear this, stop playing single player. Or there is no truth about single player and I'm just having a mental breakdown over nothing. And that's about everything covered on the iceberg. That took a lot longer than I was expecting, but I'd say it was worth it. Plus, I actually learned a lot of interesting stuff from this iceberg, which is nice. Though as you saw, there were some entries on this iceberg that I just couldn't find any info on. Once again, if you have any information on those entries, please let me know in the comments section. Plus, there's a very good chance I got some stuff wrong in this video, so if I did, let me know what I got wrong. If the demand is popular enough, I'll do an update video covering the stuff that I missed or got wrong, as well as some entries that I think should have been on the iceberg. Anyways, that'll have to do it for this video. I honestly had a lot of fun making this video and I hope you enjoyed it too. And as always, I will see you guys next time.